Hi guys, so what I thought we would do today is go through a little bit of a warm-up, look at the squat, do a couple of rounds of squats, a few sets of squats, then go through quite intense mobility session, some stretching and some core work as well. Okay, so nothing too intense, but including those few elements. Right, so we're going to start with a bit of a physical warm-up, nothing too strenuous. So if you start with a gentle jog on the spot, okay, just a gentle jog. Nothing too crazy. Then maybe throwing in a few heel flicks. Go from here into some high knees. And some star jumps. Nice. Okay, back to a gentle jog. Just gentle. From there, into the heel flicks, the high knees, and the star jumps. Fantastic. So, a few upper body rotations to support our warm-up. We're just going to be working on our squats, and towards the end, some core work. But in the middle, we're going to do some mobility and some stretching as well. Because if you play a lot of squats on the weekend, then a nice light workout, plus a bit of stretching, mobility, starting to engage the core is a great way to start the week. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a few lunges, a little bit of a lunge matrix. So we're going to go for a forward lunge, then diagonal, finishing facing forwards, go to the side. Change legs. In, down, good, and change again. Forward lunge. Angle. Down, good. Forward lunge. Angle, and across. Back to a gentle jog. Just give you a chance to catch up. Okay, so now I'm going to lunge across my body. Forward lunge, there. Across, there. And across with the right leg. And back. Now forward with the left, across with the left, and across with the left, and back. Fantastic. All right, so now we're going to start looking at the squat. Now, we've mentioned it before, and it's a movement that you guys really need to be good at doing, okay? It's very, very important that we get this at a reasonably young age, because getting to know your body is really important in the way it moves in correct movement patterns. Okay, so that's a couple of squats there. We're going to start with our toes just wider than shoulder width apart, and the toes popping out to the sides just a little bit. When we squat down, I'm not punching all the way down with my back forward, so I'm not doing this all the way down to the floor and then coming up. I see that's so often because when we're young, we're super flexible, we don't have as much strength, so we're going to just collapse this straight down, all the way down to the bottom. What we want to do is slowly control the movement down to just below 90 degrees if you can. So get your bum down to your knees and maybe just below, and then back up. Your knees stay in line with your toes when we squat down. Your back stays nice and upright. All right, we're not hunching forwards. There's not a big curve in my back as I'm squatting down. Okay, so from the front it looks like this. All the while practicing these squats. So down and back, down and back. Really good. So we're going to go for another 10. Nice. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to shake that off with the legs. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a few varieties of squat. Next one we're going to do is going to be a squat and rotation. So when we come down, normal squat on the way up, we're going to rotate round to one side. One toe helps and assists the rotation, and back to the center. Let's go. 20. That's 3 for me. I'm a little ahead of you. 4. Go for 20. 5. down, nice and controlled. It's not a race. 7 for me. 8, 9, 10. So the muscles that we're looking at when we squat, predominantly the glutes, the biggest muscles in the body, the glutes, and the biggest area that we're going to be working when we're lunging and playing squash as well, glutes. We're looking at the backs of the legs, so the hamstrings at the top and the calves. When we're rotating, when we're supporting the squat and the quads at the front of your body. But that doesn't mean that the upper body's not working. Keep going till 20. Our core is engaged, it should be actively engaged. If it's not, if it wasn't, then we'd completely relax down here and we'd crumple into a mess, okay? Our abs, even if you can't see them, they're there. I promise you they're there, okay? So this exercise is great at strengthening those as well. Building your awareness of keeping your back super straight, which is a really good skill. So let's stop there. Really good. There you have the normal squat and a bit of a squat with rotation. Now I think what we'll do is a split squat or a split lunge. Okay, so it's kind of a static lunge, also known as a split squat. So we're going to go from one leg in front of the other. We're going to keep your arms above your head, and we're going to drop the back knee down and come back up. Okay, so notice I'm literally going down. I'm not coming forward and then coming back. I'm just dropping that back knee down to get 90 degrees both sides, coming back up. Okay, let's try that. Down and up. And up. And up. Pause the video if you need to, and then come back to that on the other side. Okay, so appropriate distance apart, arms above your head, just dropping that back knee down and raising up. Nice and controlled. We need to be able to do these movements with good technique, because when we're sprinting, dashing around a squash court, we need your body to support what you're asking it to do, which is to lunge explosively into the corners, recover to the T really quickly, and that's a lot of demand you're putting on the body. Really good. So we're aiming for about 8 to 10 of those on each side. Really good. Okay, we're just going to do one more set of squats, just to try and really embed that technique. We're adding a reach down to the floor and a raise above your head as well. So really important that you maintain the technique of this exercise. If reaching down to the floor means that in order to get to good technique, and then to get there, you just have to punch forward. Don't go to the floor. So I only want you to go down as far as you can keep that back straight and then raise above your head. Back to the straight, sitting back into your hips, down and raise. Down and raise. Good, so we're just going for 12 to 15 of these. Taking your time, sitting back into the squat, only going down as far as you can keep the correct technique. Really good. Nice. Just going to do 2 more, and we're going to move on to some mobility. Fantastic. I'll just give you a minute to finish those off. All right. We're going to move on to a bit of mobility work. So I have a mat here. Maybe you're using carpet, or it's in your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom. It's a good idea to have something to have underneath you just while we're stretching and have a bit of mobility, a bit of support. Okay, so the first one we're going to go for are some back rolls, all right? So we're going to lean back onto your back, roll back, and hold on to your knees or the backs of your legs. Just going to roll out the back. And forward. Really good. Just roll that out. You might get a few crunches in the back like me, but I'm going to hold back now. In comparison to you guys anyway. So we're going to go knees up, next one. Palms to the ceiling, arms down by your side. Now with this one, we're going to try and keep the lower back in contact with the floor at the top. And let's go arms actually all the way up to the sides. So not here, up to the sides. We're going to drop the knees one side and then the other. Now, when you drop down to this side, this arm is going to want to come up, but try and really keep that down. That's where you're going to get the benefit, or you're going to feel that stretch. So we're going actively rolling from one side over to the other, and to the other. Really good. And stop there in the center. And take a breath. Good. All right, so we're going to turn over. Hands in knees position. We're going to go for cat dog stretch. We're going to drop that lower back down. Head comes up. Hands directly below the shoulders. Knees directly below the hips. Cat dog, where you dip that lower back down and lift your head up. And then raise your back up and tuck your head down. And then dip the lower back in. Head comes up. See how that is. And then we'll get an arch that back, tuck your head in, raise it all the way up. And again, dip that lower back in, head comes up. And raise. Dip that head down. And raise back up the back. Fantastic. Okay. Shake that off with the arms. All right, next one, we're going to go for some Superman. So this one's really to kind of activate the core, engage the glutes, and it's a nice balance control as well. So what I'm going to do is take my right arm and my left leg off the floor at the same time, extend them forwards, and then slowly bring them back into position, and extend the other left arm, right leg back. Now, you don't want to shift your weight too much from left to right. Try and keep your back nice and central when alternating. Okay? Good. Keep that going. So we're just alternating from one side to the other. Focus on your breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Last couple. And stop there. All right, now in the same position, I'm going to take one hand underneath your other hand, and then we're going to rotate all the way up. So down, rotate up. Down here, rotate up and around. Really good. We're going for 7 each side. So hand comes down, rotate up, down, rotate up. Okay, we're going to change sides. Reaching down on one side, rotating all the way around. So here we're opening up the chest, and I stretch from the shoulder as well, and the upper to mid back, and round. Fantastic. Good. All right, we're going to stretch down now, so we're going to go for a back extension. So for a back extension, we're going to have our hands out in front of us here. What I'm going to do is slowly raise my chest, arms off the floor here. I think you're going to stay on the floor, but when I raise up, I'm going to be squeezing the shoulder press, my shoulder blades down, squeezing them together, and relax back down. So chest and shoulders off the floor, head off the floor, and relax back down. Stretching up, holding that position, and back down. 3 more. Hold, and back down. And back down, last one. And extend. And back down. Fantastic. Good. Okay, so next one we're going to do is a hip stretch. Okay, so it's a hip opening stretch. It's really going to help with your squats as well. So we're going to get down into the bottom of the squat. Now on this one, I don't mind if your back is hunched. Okay, but I do want you to sit back and relax into this position. Now, you are working your quads quite a lot in this exercise here, but the aim here is to try and open up the hips and really stretch the groin area so that we can get more range of motion on a squat and on a lunge. So with your elbows, you can push your knees out to the sides and just hold that position. Now that may well be too much for many of you because it's a tough one on the quads, on the quad muscles. So just shake that out with your legs. Okay, and then we're going to go again. So we're just going to go for about 3 sets of this. So down as low as you can. And the key is to keep the feet on the floor, the whole of the foot in contact with the floor. All right, hold that position, squeeze those knees out and come back up. Okay, so it may well be that you need short bursts, and then when you get better at it, you can hold that for a longer period of time. All right, we're going to stretch out the hip flexors now by getting into a lunge position, and we're going to stretch forwards while staying nice and upright. So I'm pushing on my right leg here, left leg is behind me. I'm getting a stretch at the front of my left leg, which is the one at the back, staying nice and upright, stretching out the hip flexors, which can get super tight for squash players. Okay? We're holding all of our stretches today, minimum 10 seconds, probably 15 to 20. So last 5 seconds and we'll change. Nice and upright. And change. So other leg forwards, lunge position, stretching forwards. Nice and upright with your upper body. Really good. That's a really nice stretch. Well done. Hold that position. Last 5 seconds. Okay, we're going to come up, standing. We're going to go as wide as you're comfortable with your legs. We're going to drop down to one side. We're going to stretch out the muscle on the inside. So we call these muscles the adductors on the inside of your leg that help squeeze legs together, help support squats. And lunges really good. Hold that position so you can stay upright. To add more pressure, you can push down on the straight leg. But if you don't stretch it that often, maybe don't hold it for too long, because you might get some DOMs the next day or so. Really good. Just holding that, just stretching that out, because they tend to get really quite tight. But it's also a good area for foam rolling. Should have got foam roller next time. Do the foam rolling. Okay, so from this position, again, super wide, you're going to drop down one side with your hands. We're going to raise up the leg if we can, if we have the flexibility to do so, and we're going to hold that position and stretch out the hamstrings. I'm also getting the adductors here again, just because of this position of the hips. And you can also pull your toe if you can reach your toe. Now, it's really important this leg is straight, okay? So start by taking your hand down your leg towards your shin. And if it's still straight and you can reach your knee without bending, then hold the toe and maybe pull it towards you, and you're going to get a bit more of a stretch through the calf as well. Really good. Last 5 seconds here. 2, 1. Fantastic. And up. And we're going to go over onto the other side. So hands in the kind of, think of this as a Spider-Man position. Is there ready to? I don't know what that's called. It's in the web. But anyway, over. To stretch out the hamstrings, still getting a bit of the adductors as well, and the calf if you can pull and reach your toe, pull it towards you. Hold that again for another 10, 15, 20 seconds. Really good. Last 5. So we're looking at the main muscle groups here. Next one we're going to do are the quads. Now, I'll go for the standing version. I don't often go for it, but we'll try and balance. Now, you can go one-handed with one leg behind, or two-handed to get a really intense stretch. If we can hold that balanced position, I'm going to hold for 20 seconds because I know my quads get super tight. So I'm going to hold for slightly longer. Now, try and develop this awareness in your bodies as to when you feel tired, when perhaps you do need to go out and get some exercise and shake off some lethargy that you're feeling, but also when your muscles are perhaps a bit sore, maybe they need some recovery, or tight and they need some stretching, or maybe a magnesium salt bath, which is what I needed to have today for my recovery. I had a tough workout last night, so I decided to have a bath today. Mixing it up between cold and hot is a good combination to really help the muscles recover. I've changed legs and go for those 20 seconds on the quads. And relax. Good. I'm going to do a separate stretch here for the calves up against the wall here. So what I'm going to do is face the wall. I'm going to put my toes high up the wall as I can, keeping my legs straight. I'm going to move my hips towards the wall. And I'm going to feel quite a tight stretch on the calves. I'm holding that again for 10, 15 seconds. It's quite an intense one. And I'm going to change legs. So, other leg, get my toe, so heel lodged towards the floor, toe up against the wall, and moving my hip. With the leg straight, my hip moves closer to the wall. So that's going to stretch out the calf muscles at the back. Nice. And relax that back down. Really good. Okay, so we're just going to shake that off. We're going to go into some core exercises. So let's do 10 minutes of core work, activating our abs, using them a little bit. So a really nice one to start with is going to be some version of sit-up. Now, it could be a throw arm sit-up. I'll show you two versions. We're going to do a throw arm sit-up where arms behind you, throwing the arms up. And or takes a little bit more control, but keeping those hands with you next to your head. So I'm going to do 10 of each. See if we can do 20 together. Okay, you ready? So the first 10 I'll do throwing the arms up. Let's go. Feet staying in contact with the floor. And reaching. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm throwing the arms up, so providing a little bit of extra assistance. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so the second set of 10, I'm going to keep my hands by my head, less momentum, more using the abdominal muscles. So in general, this exercise, that's 3 is fast up, slow down. Okay, fast on the way up and slower on the way down. So your lower back curls into the floor. 5, 6, 7. Quite a lot harder to teach. Good. 8, 9, and that's my 20. Well done, guys. Bit of a rest, a few breaths. Really nice. So we're going to work the abs in a few different ways, probably 4 or 5 different exercises. That's a nice one. We'll move on to a bit of a crunch after. I think a lateral, just like last time. Nice way to work the abs is through a back press. So let's do that now. Back presses are a great way to build the control in your back and your abdominals. Okay, so what we're going to do is start with your hands by your sides, really squeezing your lower back into the floor. So I want to put your hand under your lower back, make sure there's no gap. So there's a gap, bring your knees all the way up to your chest, so there's no gap, and then slowly extend to the point where you can keep that, find that balance between being quite tricky to keep that gap closed. So hold that position. We're going to start by really squeezing your lower back into the floor. What we can do is start cycling the legs, extending them forwards and back. Heel down towards the floor, straight legs, and bring them up again. So last 6, you're just going to go for 20, and then rest and relax. Now, some people find this part super easy. Some people find it really challenging because it's actually quite difficult to control the back in terms of your breathing. Just as a guide, if you are doing it properly, it should be quite difficult to breathe. I'll repeat that. If you're doing it properly, it should be quite difficult to breathe because you're really squeezing the diaphragm down into the floor, but as well as concentration and the fact it's a new exercise. So we're going to take this exercise, and we're going to take it one step further now. So that was a back press with cycling legs. Now we're going to go for some scissor kicks, and we're going to do a straight leg hold as well. So in that starting position, scissor kicks, we're going to extend the leg straight, alternate up in front. Go for 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. And we go straight leg hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And that was really tricky. Woo! That's quite a tough one. That's a tough combination. The scissors, that's quite advanced. And then the holding, if you can hold for longer and longer periods of time, it shows you've got such good control of your lower back. Also strengthen your abdominal region. Okay, well done, guys. So next one, we're only going to go for a couple more. All right. So next one we'll go for a press up position. Now this one's quite tough to see here, so I'm going to do this one facing the camera, I think. So we're going to do a press up position. Now I'm looking for an exercise to kind of rotate and work the obliques a little bit. So in a press up position, we're going to bring one leg forwards, knee on the outside like that, 1, and then the other side is 2. Down the center is 3, down the center with the knee is 4, and then we're going to cross under 5 and 6. Okay, so we're going to do that just one more time. So we're going to go outside, outside, inside, inside, across and under, and stop. So hopefully you have that exercise now. We used to do 3 rounds of that, so 18 in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 lots of that. It's quite a tough one, but it's great for building your upper body strength, because holding that position whilst your lower body's moving is great twisting for your abdominals and your obliques especially. But it's also good for your general core strength. So yes, twisting, movement, upper body, general core strength, being able to do these movements and move your body in different ways is really useful. Whew. Well done. Now, what I would suggest is you do all of those one more time. Okay, so recap, going through these sit-ups, throw arms or holding your head. Then the back press. Okay, back press, various variations. So we've got the hold to start with, then the cycling legs, then the scissors, then again the hold with the straight legs, which is much harder. Then moving into that press-up position, I call it press-up variations. Press-up rotations, actually. So you've got your knee in, outside, outside, inside, inside, cross and under, and that's really it's gonna be tough on the upper body, but also it's gonna be really quite nasty for your core, for your back, but also for your abs as you're twisting and rotating and holding that position. Okay, well done, guys. So just a recap of the most important things today. What we've done a nice little warm-up, predominantly cardio, a few leg warm-ups, those lunge rotations, the lunge, what do I call it? Clock face lunges or lunge matrix. Then moving into the squat, the technique of a squat, why it's important, the major muscle groups. Okay, really important to try and get those movements looking good at an early age. Then we went into a bit of mobility, trying to look at all areas of the body. Opening up mobility is really going to help with your recovery, but also your performance, because not only is it going to improve your recovery, but your performance is going to help extend your range of motion when you're doing your lunges, your squats, you're playing. Okay, that's what the focus is. That's why we do so much kind of physiological work. The next part we did a bit of stretching. Hopefully, I've given you a few stretches there for the whole body, and then a little bit of core. So try out those core exercises. Maybe do 2 rounds of them, and I'll see you next week, 5:30 p.m. All right, have a great week.